Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Coming up, Disney tries to reclaim rights to Star Wars movies, the Christopher Robin movie is banned in China, and the team discusses virtual reality rides in theme parks. All that plus news, roundtable rapid fire, and much, much more. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 1002 for the week of August 7th, 2018. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. Let the experts at Dreams Unlimited Travel help you plan the perfect Disney, Universal, cruise, or Adventures by Disney vacation. Follow us on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. My name is John Magi, and I'll be your host. Obviously, Pete is not here again this week. He has extended his stay out in California. They're getting some Disneyland content and having a good time, I assume. I'm sure if we follow Pete on social media, we will find all the great things he's doing and the places he's going and how much better his life is than yours.
Like looking at a condo.
He's looking at a condo out there?
I'm just guessing.
I was going to say, you know more than I do because I had not heard that. So hopefully he'll be back next week to host the show. But in the meantime, I am joined at the table by Teresa Eccles.
Hey.
Kevin Close.
Hi, everyone.
Steve Porter.
Hello.
Corey Martin.
I'm just happy to be here.
And our producer, Craig Williams.
Mellow.
Oh, again, thank you guys for being here and helping me out with this. We've got a jam-packed show for you. Well, first of all, I want to say we're happy that Teresa was able to join us today. As you know, Teresa had some surgery, and she's feeling better. At least she could travel, so I made her come to the show today.
I'm here. First day out.
Excellent. Reading
Just
the
for
news.
you. Just for you, John.
What kind of painkillers are you on, Teresa?
I don't know. I can't read the label.
That's great.
All right, Judy.
I want one.
It's all good.
Some of them wake her up. Some of them put them to sleep.
She has a dream she can't sleep.
Excellent. We're going to do some housekeeping before we get started. First and foremost, I want to mention that we're still doing our fundraiser for Give Kids the World. We're trying to raise $100,000 for Give Kids the World. There is a First Giving site up that will be in the show notes page. I know that we're still quite a ways from our goal, so please, anything you can contribute would be wonderful. This is an excellent cause. We talk about Give Kids the World all the time and the great work they do. Do we have a total of where we're at?
I'm trying to pull it up. I'm tethering right now.
Yeah, we're having some internet issues here in the studio, so internet's not working that great. But please, we want you to give some money to Give Kids the World and help us send needy kids to Disney.
We were at 65,980 so far.
That's pretty great. That's pretty great.
Like 2
awesome.
weeks or 3 weeks. That's good.
Yeah, but we still have a ways to go for sure. That's all I have for housekeeping. Anybody else have any housekeeping? Craig, you look like you want to say something back there.
I was going to say, we could reach our goal very quickly if we can just get 7 people to donate, $5,000 or so.
That works. What are you going to do for that?
Nothing, but just doing math.
Craig's good at that. 7 people donating $5,000 each. All right.
Or 5,000 people donating $7 each.
Okay, let's stop.
I'll say this to all the teachers out there. I'm
much
sorry that
math.
your summer is over, but I'm happy that
Your
my
summer's
summer
over.
is over. Kids going back to school.
I'm amazed.
Now it's y'all.
I'm amazed at how early kids in Florida go back to school.
Ours go back Friday.
That's crazy.
Friday. Why Friday?
Yeah, what? And then it's the
Oh,
weekend?
Seminole County.
Stella goes back Monday.
Excellent.
Praise the
Kevin,
Lord.
did you have something you want to talk about for an Adventures by Disney? The spaces have filled up.
Yes, but that's my rapid fire.
That's your rapid
If I do
fire.
it now, I won't have a rapid fire. It's up to you. What would you prefer?
I'd like you to come up with another housekeeping right now. All right.
Can
That's
I'll do it.
you gonna do it?
Yeah.
Well, you can have my rapid fire.
No, that's okay. I'd much rather you did it.
All right, let's move on then. We're done
Do you want me
with
to do this?
We're done with housekeeping. No, we're talking about another
Wait,
rapid fire.
you didn't. asked me if I had housekeeping.
I apologize. When I said, does anyone else have any? I assumed you thought that meant you. But
Well, I
apparently
was
you
waiting
did
for
not.
you to finish chit-chatting.
Teresa, do you have any housekeeping?
I want to thank everybody for their well wishes and their things, that the flowers and goodies, and some people sent me things, John. But
I continue to send you a paycheck. I think I win.
okay. Anyway, it's been a long week and I'm out of the house, so it's all good.
If you send flowers to Teresa, she'll send you a pain pill in return.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
That's a good deal.
I'm not sure that's legal.
Steve, do you have any housekeeping?
I don't.
Corey, will you have any housekeeping?
I just said it. Happy school soon.
All right. I think I have to go around the table from now on and pry it out of people. All right, so we're going to move on to the news then. And Teresa, thank you so much for reading the news for us this week. I cannot wait
Lord help me.
for
Okay.
Teresa to read the news.
Okay, I printed it all out and I read it ahead of time.
And she phonetically spelled out names.
Shut up.
Oh, man.
This is going to be great.
I hope these aren't sad stories. Okay.
Oh, I love this already.
Okay, we ready? Craig, are you ready? Is the camera on me?
Still has been.
Okay, let's go. Let's do this.
It's the camera on me. Do you see there's a monitor over there where you can
Can't
see what
see
the
it.
camera's on?
Got my reading
Judy
glasses on.
Garland, just read the news.
Like my mother. Okay. Story number 1. Disney's new streaming service gives Ricky Strauss creative oversight.
That's not how you pronounce his name.
Shut up. That's Strauss.
You're doing fine. I just blame it.
As many know, Disney is Disney is this is the way you wrote it, right?
I did not write these.
Okay, just let me do this.
Okay.
Disney is rolling out a new streaming service similar to Netflix that is making waves in the entertainment industry. Following that pattern, Disney has surprised Hollywood once again by assigning Ricky Strauss creative oversight of programming as president of content and marketing for Disney's streaming service. Rising through the ranks at Disney, Strauss now has the authority to develop the service's strategic content, vision, and greenlight new TV shows and movies. Strauss, president of marketing for Walt Disney World for the last 6 years, has a strong background in promotions with past advertising experience at TriStar Pictures and Columbia Pictures. During his time at Disney, Strauss has helped develop films into box office smashes such as Star Wars, The Force Awakens, Black Panther, Beauty and the Beast, and Inside Out. The surprise comes as a result of his past production history, which has also overseen box office misses like Go and Fair Game, especially since the streaming service is deemed a make-or-break plan to solve Disney's television viewership problems. Although most of Hollywood is shocked by the decision, Kevin Feige, right?
Feige.
Or Beige, if I look this way.
Feige.
What?
Feige.
It is not.
Yes, from Marvel.
Good Lord. We'll just call him Kevin. Has endorsed Strauss as hugely supportive of storytellers and displaying creative instincts and expertise. Strauss has been responsible for hundreds of millions of dollars in production and have to navigate original content in addition to Disney, mainstays Marvel, Lucasfilms, and Pixar. For instance, Strauss will oversee the upcoming live-action Star Wars series directed by Jon Favreau. Got that one right. The streaming service specific show will cost roughly $100 million for 10 episodes, raising the stakes for Strauss and the service performance. Other original content includes Timmy Failure, a best-selling book series inspired boy detective movie directed by Oscar-winning Tom McCarthy. This film has a budget of $45 million. So far, Strauss has recruited top directors and producers for the service's original content at a time when Apple, Amazon, and Netflix are stealing the best talent from traditional TV. However, he will also need to ensure the service's programs appeal to a wide range and position it as an entertainment leader in an increasingly crowded market.
Excellent. Very
Discuss.
good. Discuss. All right. I do not know anything about this gentleman, so I have no comment as to whether he'll be a good fit for this. Do you guys have any background on this person?
I think that we can raise a lot of money if Teresa records bedtime stories. I really would like that. Can you do that?
Stay focused.
I don't
Lori.
Rabbit?
I don't know much about the guy, but I do know, kind of going along with this story, that one of the decisions that was made with the streaming service already is that there's going to be no R-rated movies, and that was kind of coincided with this story. And I feel like that's an interesting move by Disney because it kind of leaves an opening for And I feel like this was kind of Disney's, trying to go against Netflix to see how they could compete. And I feel like leaving out R-rated movies is such a huge section of the movie population of viewers that it'll be
Especially
interesting to
since
see how
there's
that works
parental
out.
controls out there. There's no reason to assume that, a parent can't go in and decide what content's right for their child. To assume that up front seems a little brazen. Go ahead.
The another aspect of it, though, is that when the Fox deal actually goes through, when it's complete, Disney will have majority stake in Hulu. And that, of course, while it's mainly used for television, new television, it also does have a bunch of movies on there, and it always has the ability to show movies on there. So I'm sure with their controlling stake of Hulu that if they were really looking for an outlet to show R-rated movies, that they could maybe finagle it through that, so they could keep their standalone streaming service as friendly as possible, but then Hulu gets all of that. The same way they started with Touchstone and stuff in the 90s when they wanted to branch out into... My camera keeps going out, so I apologize.
Yeah,
I can't do anything about it now. We already started, but
That's okay.
But yeah, they do have options around. They will create their own options.
But
to get
Hulu's
their
a
content.
different subscription, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many? I mean, we have Netflix, we have Amazon, mainly Amazon Prime, mainly for shopping, but we have movies. How many subscriptions are you willing to?
Well, I also have a
have.
question. Disney's never put out an R-rated movie under the Disney title, have they?
No.
No. It was Touchstone and
Miramax.
Miramax and things like that. So I don't see that as being unusual that their streaming service would, especially under the name Disney, would continue on with Family Fare.
And that's the issue that everyone kept looking past with the whole Fox deal is, they're going to get this huge library of all these Fox movies, and they're going to get stuff like Alien, and then they're going to be able to show that on there. It's, again, while Disney wanted the library to have and to hold, I think that it was such a bigger thing, especially when you look at the Sky aspect that we've been talking about it too.
I also wonder, too, going on, I wonder if somewhere along the line there'll be an antitrust suit with Hulu. I don't know. I mean, we're talking about a very gray area now with streaming services and pay services, but someone might come along and say, listen, you can't have a majority interest in Hulu and do your own stuff. So they may just license that out to other companies. Another way to make money.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to watch regardless. But in terms of Corey's question on how many subscription-based services can you have, a lot. I think people are going to keep stockpiling on that until it gets to the same price as cable, which is the whole reason why all these people cut the cord.
We still have not cut the cord.
I think Craig just did.
Well, it appears that I have wet my pants.
And you all thought it was going to be me.
He did. I had
What, wetting your pants, or
I had
the
my
cause
money on
of
Teresa.
Craig wetting his pants?
At least it's not on the soundboard.
That's true.
So
I was reading something along those lines that talked about how you can completely get rid of cable. But the problem is, for me personally, how many things do I want to have to do to find what I want to watch? We have all of those things because there's like one show on each of those services that I want to see.
And I'm at the point where if I want to watch something other than what we left the television on, when we walked away the last time, I have to call John out of another part of the house and say, will you put this back to where it used to be?
Right, exactly. So, but there are people who have said they're willing to do that to save the money. However, they understand that, or that they understand, they're realizing that it's kind of difficult now for them to watch television because they have to now realize, okay, now I got to switch over to this service. Sometimes it's a completely different mechanism to get there. A different box you have to use or your smart TV. So
I love the idea that there's so much content readily available to me. I really think that's great. I think it's a pain in the butt to have to jump through these hoops to do it, and to have switch to this and switch to this and switch to. I watch you do things on our TV, and I think if he isn't here, I am going to be able to listen to the radio.
you can watch broadcast TV on an antenna. All right.
Remember those days?
Let's move on to another story. Teresa, do you have another
broadcast
story for us?
I do.
Excellent.
It's kind of along the same lines.
Okay, Edna.
What? Story number 2. Disney tries to reclaim Star Wars rights from TNT TBS for new streaming service. When the Walt Disney Company's new direct-to-consumer streaming service launches, they want a full roster of all their most popular intellectual property at their disposal to entice viewers. Don't mess with my cane. Okay.
It seems.
It seems that the Star Wars franchise, they've
Line.
caught themselves... What?
Line.
With the... What are you saying?
Like when an actor forgets their lines. And someone
Oh,
forgets
okay.
their lines.
It seems that the Star Wars franchise, they've caught themselves in a bit of a bind. According to Bloomberg sources, Disney has recently made an inquiry with Turner Broadcasting about regaining the rights to Star Wars films. Remember Ted Turner? Is he still alive? Okay, anyway.
Squirrel.
In 2016, the rights to broadcast the franchise films, both old and new, on their cable networks, including TNT and TBS, and online, was sold to Turner for around $275 million. This deal extends until 2024. If Turner were to entertain the idea of selling Star Wars back to Disney, one of Bloomberg's people familiar with the matter says that would require compensation through financial considerations and programming to replace the lost films. The Star Wars franchise has become one of Disney's most profitable intellectual properties, and when their streaming service launches in late 2019, they'll want full use of that content. It was announced last year that the direct-to-consumer service would feature a live-action series set in the galaxy far, far away, and just recently a renewed Star Wars The Clone Wars was confirmed to return on that service. The practice of studios selling broadcast rights to cable providers once their films leave theaters isn't uncommon, but as major media companies look to compete with the likes of Netflix by creating their own streaming services, deals like that will continue to become obstacles. Disney already decided not to renew a deal with Netflix, which gave the digital content provider rights to new releases and expire at the end of this year. Drop page.
Do we know exactly what Star Wars films TNT has the right to? Is it the first 6?
The first 7.
7, wow.
So I'm
Okay.
not sure about Last Jedi, but I know for sure that they're on TNT and TBS like all the freaking time
All the
now.
time,
Yeah.
they do, yeah.
What year did they sell?
She
Was it
dropped
in
the
there?
thing on the
Oh,
floor.
she dropped it on the floor.
20...
It's through
It's till 2024. I remember that.
No, that's when it expires. But what
In
year did they-
2016.
Yeah, it was relatively recent, so
Okay.
it's just always it's bounced around hands, just like
Does this
like
matter?
it happens.
Is this so important to Disney they have to have these movies and be the only one that shows it, or is it a matter of pride that now they should have control over them?
I don't know if they need to be the only one that shows it, but I think it is necessary that it is on their streaming service because there's so many Star Wars fans that are going to come to the streaming service expecting those, now that Disney owns Star Wars, expecting it to be there, that
Yep,
if
I
it's
agree.
not, they're going to be
No, I
pretty
think
mad.
it needs to be just them. Because that would draw people in. I mean, that would...
You think Disney should have the exclusive rights to it and no one else should be able to show it?
Yep. It's like The Wizard of Oz, only on CBS,
You
remember?
know, you can go out and buy these movies for $14.99.
Yeah, but then you gotta... No.
Then you can watch them whenever you want.
But who does that anymore? Do people still do that?
Just saying.
Okay.
I rewatch shows we buy on iTunes. If I buy a movie that I really like, I
Well,
rewatch
yeah, but it's
it.
not a hard little
Oh,
disc.
you could buy the Star Wars movies that way.
I know, I bought some that way.
It's just interesting that they feel the need to go through this to actually get these back before 2024, but I don't know.
Craig?
I think there's other content.
It depends on what they're going to sell the streaming service for. I mean, I wonder if it's going to be the same price as Netflix. They're going to have to
I can't
be
imagine
a little
right.
lower than Netflix, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I can't imagine it's going to be a huge difference between other streaming services, and I'm sure it's going to. I'm sure it's going to be different.
John's Italian roots.
I'm sure.
My Italian is going. I'm sure it's going to be tiered, so it'll be like a basic service for $7.95, and if you want HD or multiple ones, it'll be more money and things like that.
Because Netflix is like that, right? The more whatever accounts you have.
They offer tiered service.
Is that what that is?
So if you want
Okay.
HD movies and if you want more than one user.
Yeah, that's
on
what
your
I was talking
account.
about. Yeah.
I mean, for me with this, as long as Turner has the rights to show it on TBS and TNT, I don't know why they can't work out an agreement in terms of the streaming side of it. So I have a feeling that they would want to keep Star Wars on their channels because that's selling advertising space. For a digital streaming service through their apps and stuff, I can't imagine that Star Wars really produces money. So, and in terms of Disney wanting to, cut a deal to make sure that it's only on their channels, I really don't think that matters anymore. So it's just the landscape has changed so much.
It feels like it's a matter of pride for Disney. This is ours. We're going to get it. We're going to take it, and this is going to be our thing for our streaming service.
It could be.
All right. What else you have there, Teresa?
Okay. Story number 3.
Are we okay?
She has a bear looking over her shoulder.
Christopher Robin banned in China due to Winnie the Pooh memes. According to the Hollywood Reporter, what is your problem?
Nothing.
According to the Hollywood Reporter, Christopher Robin has been denied release in China. While no confirmed reason was given, images of the Winnie the Pooh character is being blamed as people on social media have been using it as a symbol of the resistance in China with foes of the ruling Communist Party, Chinese leader Xi Jinping. I don't know if that's right. Is that right, y'all?
Just keep going.
Sure.
Comparisons between Ping and Pooh seem to have kicked China's censorship up a notch, and after last week's Tonight's host, John Oliver, mocked Ping's sensitivity over the matter, Chinese authorities blocked HBO. The Hollywood Reporter states that an insider counters that the decision likely to have to do with the size and scope of the film, given the foreign film quota and the fact that there are several new Hollywood tentpoles in the Chinese market right now. It's being said that the film losing the market in China won't likely hurt its take at the box office, as it's expected to make a solid debut in the U.S. with earnings somewhere between the high 20 millions and 30 million. Deadline reports that Thursday night's preview already brought in 1.5 million. The only other Disney film this year to receive a no from China was A Wrinkle in Time.
So are you guys fans of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver? Did you watch it?
I watched it.
And this
After
one,
reading this story, I went and watched it.
it's actually
It was a long one, huh?
It was funny. Yeah. It's a funny thing. I mean, what happens is that people are using the likeness of Winnie the Pooh with the president to sort of make fun of him, and he's very, very upset by this. And the right thing
very
is
sensitive
he's
about
very
it.
sensitive about it. And the right thing to do is just ignore it, and it would go away. However, he's making a bigger deal about it, so they're doing it more and more and more. I can't imagine that it's because there's so many movies in China. I think Winnie the Pooh would be huge over there. So I think
it's a bear, yeah.
I think it's because the communists are stopping it.
I can't imagine how upset Disney is. Like, your sensitivities are making us lose millions of dollars because,
They should have called it Ping and Pooh.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're
Or better yet, pooping.
I'm not sure if they're concerned that much. China usually is a big thing with a lot of action movies. So, like Fast and Furious, the reason why it crosses the $1 billion mark is not because of the United States, believe it or not. It's because of the Chinese. So
The Chinese market is huge, though.
Yeah.
Put Pooh in a fast car.
Oh, that would be
do it for
something else. But
Regardless of the genre, losing that market share is big. That's a lot of eyeballs and a lot of money that's being spent over there.
Have any of
Is he
y'all seen
really-
this movie?
Is he really upset? Ping Pooh? Ping G Ping? Jing, Ping?
Yes, the whole story you read was about
I know,
him
but I
being
mean, how do
upset.
we?
Just stay with Ping.
Who's saying he's upset? Is he on Twitter tweeting about it?
It's pretty big over there. It's a big thing where the people who are
The image
against
of
him.
Pooh is verboten in China because of the president's sensitivity to the fact that people are comparing him to Winnie the Pooh, that he looks like Winnie the Pooh, that he acts like Winnie the Pooh,
There's posters up of him and Winnie the Pooh standing side by side.
holding
There's
hands.
no Hollywood star.
Unless he's not Eeyore. Wow.
So it's a weird story. It's an interesting story, but
Did you see it, Craig? The movie?
I did.
Was it cute?
It
Or
was-
maybe just
it was
rephrase
very
that.
charming.
Was Ewan McGregor cute?
Ewan McGregor was fantastic.
Was he?
When he always is, though. Like when's he not great in anything?
well,
Moulin Rouge.
And I don't enjoy that movie, but he's still good in it. But no, it was a very charming movie. It was It was really sweet. I don't think Disney expected this to be an opening weekend of $70 million. So everyone who's out there saying that it's terrible and awful, or the box office returns for it are terrible and awful. It's not that kind of a movie. It wasn't made to bring in the big bucks. I don't know why everyone just always assumes that if it's Disney, Universal, whatever, it's expected to make 50 million or more right away. But people are weird.
Well, there's a very big marketing campaign behind this movie. I don't know about you, but you can't go anywhere without seeing them advertise for the movie. So they're expecting some return on their investment.
I think
It's not a throwaway movie.
Yeah, no, it's not a throwaway movie for sure. But I think the big marketing push also came because it really was a situation where the movie felt like it wasn't rushed by any means. Like they've been promoting this movie for quite a while now, not years and years and years like some movies, but there wasn't really a lot of hype at all for this going into it. So I think that's where they kind of
It's
realized
funny,
that
'cause I think there was. I think a lot of places
Seems everywhere.
I've seen talk shows. He was on a lot of talk
now,
shows and stuff.
like in the past 3 weeks, but 2-3 months ago when they want the hype to start begin, when they start thinking about, okay, pre-sales on tickets, things like that.
Well, when you compare it to something like Mary Poppins, which they're showing the commercial for at least once a week, it seems, and that's not coming out till December. I see what you mean.
Yeah, they're really, I think with Mary Poppins, they're definitely taking that approach. But they also, with Mary Poppins, I think they are expecting that one to do gangbusters, especially
Also,
with that
they're
December.
releasing it at Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a big tentpole over the holidays.
I have not seen
sure.
the movie, and I'm not going to judge it until I do. But I know watching like the previews, to me, like Pooh looks a little creepy.
Well, look at that picture. The picture of him looking at that train.
I
It's
haven't
like
seen it yet. I can't judge, but he looks a little creepy. I know
It
he's
just looks
supposed
like a loved bear that's been in the woods.
Yeah, I will say this. I think it's a good family movie, but it's more for it's kind of not really a on the nose metaphor for it, but a lot of the movie is based around getting older, spending more time working, and not paying attention to your family and pushing them to the
Lord,
side.
I'm never
and-
seeing that movie.
Cats in the Cradle.
I'm never
yeah.
bringing. My
You're
kids
living
to
Oh
that
no!
one,
It was awkward sitting next to Kylie during the movie when it's like, can't you just spend this weekend with us? No, I have to work, and it's like, oh shoot, this is an awkward.
this sounds like a
awkward
horrible
experience.
premise for a movie. People should be working all the time.
Your stuffed bear makes you feel guilty for working.
So there are a lot of work moments. Don't expect it to be like all Pooh all the time. It's definitely a balance between live action dreary family movie and then
How's Piglet doing it? I love Piglet.
Piglet. He's a character. I'm not a Piglet fan, but
Oh, you're not?
no,
I love Piglet.
that's fine.
Unlike the weekend I was sick, it's not Pooh all the time, apparently. Let's move on.
Please move on.
Let's move on to rapid fire. And I'm going to start with Teresa. Teresa, you're going to give us your rapid fire any second. I just know it. This will not take a long time.
It won't.
Do you have it?
I have it. Hang on.
All right.
It's amid all the papers.
What are the extra papers for this?
You've been throwing paper all back here, and it's an ice skating rink.
No, okay. Are we ready?
Still ready.
Walt Disney World offering free dining bounce back offer for select dates in 2019. Folks who missed out on booking the free dining promotion that recently ended might be glad to hear that Walt Disney World Resort is offering a bounce back free dining promotion for limited dates in 2019. And the dates are May 28th to June 4th, June 28th to September 7th, and December 6th to December 24th. According to the brochure that's currently being left in the guest room, the offer is able to be booked through October 31st, 2018, and requires a minimum 4-night stay along with 4-day park hopper. Other exclusions may apply. Those who book a value or moderate resort will get the free quick service dining plan. Those who book a deluxe resort or villa get the deluxe Disney dining plan. The following resorts are excluded from the bounce back offer. Guests can still book the 2019 offer if staying in one of these resorts in 2018. However, exclusions are Art of Animation, Little Mermaid, like always, Art All-Star Movies, French Quarter, Polynesian Bungalows, Grand Floridian Villas, Bay Lake Tower, all 3 bedroom villas, Fort Wilderness campsites, and Copper Creek villas and cabins. There's a $200 refundable deposit required upon booking. In order to take advantage of the bounce back offer, guests must book from their resort hotel room telephone during their current stay. Detailed information can typically be found on a flyer left in the guest room. In the event you don't see the flyer in your room, simply dial extension 8844 for your in-room telephone. If you'd like to connect Dreams Unlimited Travel to your reservation, you will be given the opportunity to do so during the booking process. Cool.
Not unusual for Disney to offer bounce back offers. They do it all the time. I think the free dining one's unusual. I think this is an interesting way for Disney to
Have
sort
they
of...
done this before? I don't remember
I don't
this.
recall them doing a free dining bounce back, but I could be wrong. I will say this. This is interesting that they're going to do it this way. I wonder if it means they may not do a general free dining this year.
I think this is the new way. I think this is going to be the new way. I mean, they're already getting people that are. They're already getting people
Not
that
only
are
you're not
in
in
the
your
resort. Yeah.
Not only not in the
wow,
mic, but with
yeah.
a hand over it.
I'm pooping. So.
Oh, man. This has gone far. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's great for people who are in the resort now. I think take advantage of this. Book next year. We always say, don't wait for a promotion. Always book and do it. As Teresa mentioned, you can book through Dreams Unlimited Travel. Just make sure you let your agent know when you get back, because we don't always know when these rebookings get done. They don't always send us the confirmation. So just make sure that your agent knows that you rebooked in your room. All right. Thank you, Teresa. Moving on to Kevin.
Excuse me.
Mint?
No, thank you.
Oh, this
Okay.
is going to go down as the biggest mistake I ever made, having Teresa on the show this week.
You gave me one of those 2 or 3 months ago, and it made me sick.
Okay.
All right.
Rapid fire.
Sorry. We're doing a Diz exclusive Backstage Magic December 2nd through December 7th of this year, 2018. And due to some unforeseen illness, we have found a couple of spots open, and there were people who were interested in traveling with us. If you're interested, the pricing for an adult is $3,517 per person based on double occupancy. This works out to $7,034. A single guest is $43.49. And there's space for a handful of people. So if you're interested in joining us and seeing Disneyland all dressed up at Christmas, Kevin at Dreams Unlimited Travel. I do have to give you the caveat that we are within final payment, so it means full payment at the time of booking. There is no payment plan at this point, but I do have the spaces available. And talking about bounce back offers, ABD is offering a program now that if you rebook an adventure within 45 days of your completing your last adventure, ABD is offering $250 per person on international adventures and $150 on domestic. This is combinable with the Dreams Unlimited Travel promotion. So if you loved what you just did and you want to go again, within 45 days, you get an extra, if you're two people, $500.
Also, I want to say, if you're thinking about joining us in December, I am working on a very special guest. Haven't inked the contract yet, but we're going to have a very special guest.
I just told
join
our
us.
guide, I know who our guide is, and she is very, very, very excited about this.
Does Pete know about this yet? That he's going to be the special guest?
Does Pete know?
Okay. Maybe not.
I think if he stays out in California, sure, why not?
Might as
Be
well.
easy.
A
Thank you,
condo.
Kevin.
Just so you know, just so anybody knows, Pete is not booked on this trip. John and I are.
Thank you, Kevin. Moving on to Steve.
Yes, so the Pro Bowl is set to return to Orlando this year, which means they will be back at the ESPN Wide World of Sports. The week leading up, they do special youth activities up to a high school range of the athletes interacting with the kids. They do special throwing competitions and running competitions. So they'll be back. I know they did this last year, and people seem to enjoy it. So
Excellent. That area of property is a mess with the construction. It's incredible how much construction is going on over there. You can't get through there at all. All right. That was my contribution to the sports discussion. Talk about traffic. Thank you, Steve. Corey?
All right. According to the Disney Parks blog, the popular barbecue chain Four Rivers will soon have a food truck coming to Disney Springs. The new establishment will be called 4R Cantina Barbacoa Food Truck and will be located at the Disney Springs Marketplace beginning late August. Look, I'm not Spanish. I can't roll my R's. Barbacoa is as good as I can get with that. The food truck will serve barbacoa-style menu derived from the culinary culture of Mexico City. Guests will be able to find taco cones, burrito bowls, and even vegetarian options like the squash blossom burrito. If y'all don't know what Four Rivers is, it's a very popular family-owned barbecue place here in Florida. I think we have 13 to 14 locations. There's one right down the street from our house, but it's incredible. Their brisket is
Their pulled pork and their
incredible.
cheesy grits.
And they have like these burnt ends.
Oh, the burnt ends are
And
awesome.
they're closed on Sunday too.
Are they?
So I either crave Four Rivers or Chick-fil-A on every Sunday, and they're both closed.
I gotta tell you, I think I'm the only person who doesn't like this.
You
Don't you like it?
First of all, they serve you your food on like old newspaper. They slop it to you like you're a pig in a stall. I hate
Wow, I've
Last
never.
time we were there, John went up and said, "I want my food on a plate,"
that.
because it comes on like a metal tray with a piece of wax paper.
I've never been there, but
I've never
they have
dined
it
in. I usually
delivered
get
all the
it to
time.
go.
Oh, all right. Yeah, when you dine in, it's usually served on like a piece of wax paper on a tray, and it's off-putting and unappetizing to me.
It's standard barbecue practice, but it is the most.
No, it's not.
plates
You can
and
go to
barbecue.
Sonny's and you get a plate.
Plates in a lot of
Sonny's is a
places.
chain rest.
So is Four Rivers.
Yeah, but
It's a local chain, family owned.
Sonny's originally was from Florida too, if I remember correctly. But they've gone into the more of the let's try to be Texas Roadhouse, Smoky Bones, all that type. Where Four Rivers wants.
No, it's not. We ate there 2 weeks ago.
Agree to disagree on that. Sonny's is over commercialized. They made too many stores and then they started failing. Four Rivers is still expanding. They're up in Georgia now, and it's extremely popular here. The food quality's decent for barbecue. You know, it's not going to beat your Texas barbecue or even some people like North Carolina, Kansas. Everyone has their own fan. It's their own
You can
fan
still
of
give me a
different
plate.
type.
I can still have a plate.
John,
It doesn't have to be served like slop in front of the pig. I'm sorry.
I've never
grosses-
dined there, so I usually get to go. Like
comes in foil.
for one of my birthdays, I don't eat cake or sweets, so I asked Julie.
Why do you always have to say that?
No,
It
because
makes me feel
because
bad.
I'm
It is
connecting, I'm
hateful, isn't
connecting
it?
it to
Hateful
Four
to us
Rivers.
cake eaters.
I'm connecting it to Four Rivers. So what Julie did, she pre-ordered a leg of lamb for me from Four Rivers, and so that was my birthday.
That's
The
sweet.
whole leg of lamb. I couldn't
You
even.
two found each other then?
I know, right?
I think it's cool that there'll be two barbecue places now at Disney Springs. You can go to Polite Pig or this food truck, so people will compare which they like best.
And it looked
But-
like this place was at least doing stuff that was more like you could handle it.
Yeah.
Like it was more handheld foods that were more.
This
portable.
is different. Don't go to the food truck once it starts thinking that you're going to get the same exact thing that you would get if you go to a Four Rivers. If you want to try our barbecue, you need to go to an actual store. They started doing their barbacoa bowls this summer, really launching them out, and I guess they did well enough that they wanted to expand the concept. I don't remember them ever from any other time past, but this isn't you're not gonna just get your brisket on a plate, anything like that. This is gonna
No
be
plate.
the specialty menus. You never get it on a plate, but so
Throw a hissy fit like I did.
Dang.
No, but I like this idea of stuff in a cone
He
and.
did. He stomped
don't
back up
use-
there with
you
his
don't
metal tray and
use-
said, "Put this on a plate."
Plastic silverware, do you?
Oh, absolutely, I do. Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not that particular. To me, this was just unappetizing the way they presented it to me.
Well, it's
At
not
the
like they
store.
threw it in a trough and told you to pull up.
Kind of felt that way.
It's on a metal tray with a piece of wax paper, so everything's on that same piece of wax paper. And you get.
But you're eating on your own wax paper.
I usually eat it on my lap while I'm driving home, and Julie's like, "Where's the brisket?" What had happened was
All you got was burnt.
It evaporated. All right. I'll let that go for now, but we're coming back to that on a later show. Thank you, Corey. Craig, your rapid fire, please.
Okay, so there is a new special event happening for this month via Shop Disney. They're launching their new Disney Stores Sleep Shop Hotline, so you can get messages from Mickey and his friends by calling 1-877-7-Mickey, and I guess Mickey will talk. Mickey or Minnie or Donald, I think Goofy's in on there too. They'll talk to you right before you go to bed. I debated on calling this last night, but I decided to back off on that.
What did
and
they say to you?
I don't know. I'm too afraid to
Should
call.
have done it for the show and had them call.
I'll call people before they go to bed and talk to them.
I wonder if you can call right now.
That's illegal, Teresa. What you're
She'll call
proposing.
7 people for $5,000 each.
That's called taking Ambien.
I'll talk them to sleep.
I have a friend who used to take Ambien, and she would call me up and have hour-long conversations, and the next day I would call her and say, do you remember this conversation? I didn't have a clue.
So you're calling it now?
I am.
I think Craig is too.
I think part of the one of the things that they do at Disney is they have Mickey call the room and things like that. I think it's very popular. People love it. So I think this is kind of a cool idea. Can you play it over this?
Yeah.
Please make sure a grown-up is with you, or that you have a grown-up.
Do we have a grown-up
Yeah,
here?
we do. Teresa's here.
Press 1 to hear from Mickey. Press 2 to hear.
Here we go.
So exciting.
Hiya, pal. It's me, Mickey Mouse. Oh, I sure am glad you called. Gosh, it must be getting close to your bedtime. I bet by now you've brushed your teeth and gotten into your pajamas. Well, that's great. Pluto and I just finished brushing our teeth, too. Tonight, I think I'll read Pluto his favorite story. It's about a brave dog who helps a lost bunny rabbit find his way home. Well, it's time for Pluto's nighttime walk, so I'd better go. Good night, pal. I hope you have sweet dreams.
Well, that's kind of adorable.
Listen to this one. though. Hang on, listen to this one.
I'm surprised at how long it was.
And finally, I had dinner with my best friend, Minnie Mouse. Phew, I am so tired. I can't wait to go to bed. Ooh, it must be your bedtime, too. Let's both
It's Daisy.
Yeah.
Awful person.
All right? Well, good night, my friend. Bye-bye.
She went shopping and was tired.
But what character
Sound like
was
grandma. That was
was
supposed to be
Daisy.
that? Oh,
Daisy.
that was Daisy.
Sound like my grandmother.
I think it's really cute. I think it's a great idea. I'm surprised at the length of the message.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
great.
you get a lot for that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we just ruined Mickey. I don't know if it. We're not going to keep calling to see if it does random messages around there, but it's lasting through August 31st. So
You weren't prompted for if you want Mickey, press 1. If you want
Yeah,
to-
you
yeah,
were.
we were.
Yeah.
I just did Mickey right
Mickey,
away.
Minnie, Donald, and Daisy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, really neat.
Can't
cool.
get your kids to brush their teeth. That's how you do it.
Yeah, really. Cool beans.
Or you just tell them to brush their teeth.
Thank you, Craig. All right, we're going to move on to our discussion topic. So there was a fourth story in the news, and I thought about having Teresa read it, but then I thought we'd not have enough time. We'd have to go into a 2-hour show. It just wasn't worth it. But I actually decided it would make a really good conversation for the team, for the table, and it's about virtual reality in the parks. And I'm going to read the story, and then we can talk about if we decide where it might go for theme park rides and theme park attractions. So there's a new patent shows Disney developing moving floors for virtual reality attractions. Disney is working on a number of ways to allow guests to enjoy full freedom of movement in an open virtual reality environment without accidentally walking into walls or other people. A patent application filed by Disney Enterprises, Inc. describes some unique technology systems that would make it possible for multiple users on the same platform to walk freely without ever leaving the space. The patent is titled Floor Systems Providing Omnidirectional Movement of a Person Walking in a Virtual Reality Environment, and it references previous attempts by others to achieve this goal. Let me go ahead. The document describes a few solutions to the problem that other people have not been able to solve. A platform of small vibrating plates could be used. When something vibrates, it affects friction. A walking surface made up of individual working plates could vibrate on and off under a user's feet, moving on different axes. The system would be able to increase or decrease the friction as the user steps, catching the foot with friction or letting it slide over. The friction would be reduced with vibrations on the z-axis or with ultrasonic transducers, blah, blah, blah. Another system would involve small rotating discs instead of tiles. Each disc would be tilted to have a raised contact area with all the contact areas combined to form a planar surface. So that's flat. It's not all up and down. And there was another one, but I lost that. So the existence of an application does not guarantee a patent's approval. An approved patent does not guarantee the technology's use. Although a statement from Bob Iger has promised that Disney parks will not add virtual reality attractions to their roster in place of traditional ones, that may not last forever. So they have something like this at Disney Springs. It's called The Void, where you can go in and do an interactive experience.
I've done that.
Have you done it?
I did, yeah.
Did you enjoy it? Was it cool?
I did. Once I realized that, it was virtual. I mean, no, I did enjoy it. It was
What
was
do you mean
fun.
once you realized it was virtual?
Okay, so they gear you up with all this heavy duty crap that you got to wear, and then you're walking a little bit from room to room, but it's it's virtual. It's not real, but it felt real.
I guess I don't understand what you mean by once you realized it was virtual.
Well, some things were real. Like, okay, I don't want to spoil it. You've done it, right, Craig?
No, VR makes me sick.
Oh, anybody done this but me?
I have not done it.
No, you're the only one. So did you? So I understand why. What happens is there's a physical environment, but the virtual reality makes it look like something else.
Yes, you're
So
wearing. So it makes it look like something's happening, along with all the sensations you're feeling that are coming at
So
you.
you may walk somewhere and maybe have a door handle. Is that,
Well, the door would open.
Okay.
And then it would show like a gangplank or whatever, not a gangplank, but
My,
where you'd
my
walk
first
through.
thought of like an attraction for this was like we've always talked about Figment going away and it'd be replaced with like an Inside Out attraction. Like if that was a VR attraction, when they're running, there is so much.
Oh, it
stuff
would be
that you can
amazing.
do with that,
It would be amazing.
if
As your
that
worlds
was-
fall apart, and
Right,
I would
or-
love that.
That would be cool. As a theme park nerd, I think it would be cool if they had a virtual reality experience where you could walk through, like, basically like a time capsule of the theme parks at different.
Oh, that would be
to
cool.
see what the Magic Kingdom looked like on opening day, or
Like
to see-
Tomorrowland, kind of a go through, and it would be.
Yeah. So
No,
you
but
could-
I enjoyed it. We laughed our way through it. It was fun. Other than the fact that the person I was with kept shooting me, and I thought my thing was exploding, my little vest, but it was just being shot.
I even think Stitch's Great Escape would be a fun thing if it was VR.
So it sounds like you guys are okay with it, that they can put VR attractions in theme parks. 'Cause
I
there are
think-
people are upset by this
Why are they upset by it?
because a theme park should have physical attractions that you go on and be, sort of, the audio animatronic aspect of it and the ride aspect.
I
It
think
shouldn't
this
be-
just adds to it, just another element to enjoy.
I don't want the theme parks to be taken over by virtual reality experiences, but if there was one or two in a theme park and it was done right, then I don't have any problem with it.
No,
Because if you're going to do that, you could just put a theme park in an old warehouse.
right. But still, I think it's cool. I enjoyed the one I did. I enjoyed the Star Wars aspect of it because I like Star Wars movies. Sorry, I do enjoy them, and it kind of puts you there. And I like the fact that if they would do this with something, whatever property they want to do it with, geared towards little kids, or it could be something exciting,
So you were in a physical space where you moved around.
just
This-
a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is saying what you'd be stationary and your feet would be on something that would simulate walking, maybe climbing.
Almost like a
maybe
treadmill,
running.
but it can go in every direction.
Right.
And this would work for people that couldn't go on the regular rides too, for whatever reason, maybe. If it was just, I don't know.
If you had some sort of physical
Yeah.
impediment that made
If
it
you
so you
can't
couldn't
get on
ride
a
a roller
ride,
coaster or
yeah.
something like, have a virtual roller coaster.
And then one day you can create your own avatar in it, and you can be whoever you want to be.
Okay. Yeah, that would be cool.
Say more about that.
Well, I mean, let's say it could be in a big company that's funding it out of Columbus, Ohio, and there's a big contest where you need to find different keys in order to eventually take over the company.
Don't listen to him, John.
It's
He's
oddly specific.
Yeah, it's because literally it's from Ready Player One. So essentially, that's the whole idea. It's in virtual reality, and if you can upgrade your kit, your equipment to be good enough, then you can basically do whatever you want moving around on a treadmill style type thing. So it's essentially that.
So you're saying it's the plot of Ready Player One.
That with what they're going for, it seems like they read the book and they're like, yeah, this is a good idea. We should start doing things like that. I don't like virtual reality at all, though. I'm very, very much against it. So
There's there are things that with virtual reality, because it's a visual concept, there are people who have issues with their sight. I do. That makes it difficult to see it. So that's limiting those people. I would think with a platform like this would also limit people who have balance issues.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be for everybody.
I don't really know what you're talking about, but the whole thing sounds like a tripping hazard to
I
me.
was just going to say,
The plates and the spinning discs, and they're going to rise and fall.
That kind of bothered me. The one I went through, it happened right after I had injured my knee. So I had the cane with me, and I left the cane behind. So there wasn't a whole lot of walking. It was just, I don't know. I enjoyed
Were there
it.
spinning plates?
No, there were no spinning plates. There was just Kelly shooting me with her
Yeah.
gun.
Is there something over your eyes?
Yes.
So you can't see where you're walking.
No. But you look at this. You were stormtroopers, right? I think I was a stormtrooper, and I just you look at your own hand, and it looks like. I kind of enjoy that kind of a thing. I mean,
so let's go back to some of the things
Sounds
that
claustrophobic to me. I can't explain it.
I think some people would not enjoy it, but I think some people would. Going back to what Corey and Steve were talking about, so what other intellectual properties lend itself to this? Because I don't think you could. I agree. If they start doing this in every ride, or everything is VR, people are going to go, "This is a cop out." But what lends itself to?
But there are some attractions, like I know, like I'm comparing it to Fun Spot, but there is a roller coaster there where you have an option to either ride the roller coaster or use the VR, or use VR while you're riding it. So this could be an option where, say you do Space Mountain or Big Thunder, and you have an option to do it the classic way or the new way. I mean, this obviously isn't tied to floors or anything, but if it does go that route, maybe people might choose the VR route.
Yeah, might enhance the actual ride itself with something different, rather than being the same ride over and over
Like
again.
It's a Small World. I would love that.
I could also
Give me the VR.
I could also see it with Vanellope's, being that Wreck-It Ralph is based in a video game
that would be cool.
like setting, that it would kind of make sense to have virtual reality with a video game.
Some things that are more fantastical and more sort of out of that they might not be able to do physically. They
Out
could
of
do
this
in-
realm.
So you don't think it would work in the Hall of Presidents?
Well, they could do it in the Hall of Presidents, for sure.
it's a slippery slope. Anything can be done
Yeah.
VR, and it can pull you into a world like you can't be in any other way. But then that's when you have to stop and be like, are we doing this too much? Are we going too far with it? And I am terrified that eventually that is going to be a reality where everyone needs that constant. They need constantly being surrounded in a world that they're not actually in. Like,
But look at the average guest walking down Main Street. Nobody's looking at the castle anymore. Everybody's
no.
looking at their damn phone.
Yeah.
All of us, me included.
Yeah.
It's like you just sit there and watch everybody. They're like this, or
And
they're like this. And we're already at that point.
And I know people like this, but I think this is a part of the problem is these now interactive cues. Whereas you don't even talk to the people around you anymore or your family. Now you're playing games on your phone and you're doing all this interactive stuff on your phone. But I think if this is a ride where you're going to, or an attraction that you're going to, that's a little different, because that's not walking down Main Street. That's, being in a building or something like that. Kevin, what was they brought back the I Love Lucy attraction and made it VR? Would you do it?
My favorite part of Universal Studios.
I try so hard to bring him in on the conversation. I got to do something to bring him
Yeah,
in.
you could be
Moulin
stomping
Rouge.
grapes or shoving virtual candy in your mouth. Would be fun.
They took that out of Universal Studios, and now it's just dead to me.
One of the complaints that people say about Universal is there's too many screens. So I think that's something that we're all concerned about.
However, you were in Shanghai Disney, and you said the Pirates of the Caribbean was the best thing you've ever seen, and it was all screens.
It was, I would say it was a good mix, though. It was about 60-40 screens and animatronic and
see, I
set
pay
pieces.
attention.
You did. So I think where it's appropriate to enhance it, I think it's wonderful. But I wouldn't like it if the whole thing were like that.
Yeah.
or if every ride were like that.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, you got to have it where it's appropriate, and I think 2 or 3 rides at max in a park.
Because then you don't even you wouldn't even have to walk from attraction to attraction. Couldn't you just go into one attraction and wait for them to show the next attraction?
Or just be in your living room.
Right. I mean, I see everybody. It's like Wall-E. I see everybody in a recliner with those things on their face, and they're just watching
Yeah.
the attractions go by over and over.
They could sell packages where you wouldn't even have to. Yeah, you could just stay at
The
home.
whole
and-
theme park could be one room, right?
Right.
You don't have to go in. Even
You don't have to leave your hotel room.
One of the pluses of this would be, though, space.
That would be great in the rain.
That would be good in the rain. There would be space. This would take up much less space than, say, a roller coaster or a dark ride or something like that. But I don't know what kind of capacity it would have. Interesting to think about. Interesting to figure out what might work and what might not work. For folks at home, let us know. What do you think about virtual reality in the theme parks? Send us an email or post on the podcast board and tell us what your input is on that. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Would you do it if it were available? And what specifically do you think lends itself to virtual reality? Because I don't think you can do everything. I think that's silly. I like Steve's idea about maybe having, a history of Walt Disney World or a history of Disney theme parks that you can visit and things like that. Also, when does it become too much? Like, should you have a virtual reality Walt that you interact with?
We should have a VR backstage magic. What do y'all think?
Sure. As long as they pay the same amount of money, I'm okay with it. But yeah, should you interact with Walt? Is that sacrilege that, oh my gosh, you're now bringing Walt to
Can you
life?
smoke with VR?
This conversation's been going on for a long time. We have to go back many years to American Idol, and Celine Dion did a duet with Elvis Presley, and people were all fatoutsed over the fact that they did that. And you think, well, is a dead celebrity still have rights? Would Elvis wanted to have sung with Celine Dion? So, this was a discussion last week about Carrie Fisher. I personally don't think they should use her video. Actors make choices in when they act, and those choices have been taken away from her.
Right.
So by using her footage that was filmed in another movie, now they're forcing it into a different situation.
Just because the company owns the likeness
Right.
of Walt Disney. should
And
they
that's a
use
different
Walt
story.
Disney?
But then it's like you talk about Walt Disney. Are his rights taken away because he's deceased? So I don't know.
That's what I feel about Tupac.
No, I know you'd be passionate about Tupac. All right, I think that's a good place to end this conversation. Again, we'd like your input. I'd like to know what you think. What are you showing?
There's a picture of me when I got out of that thing.
Teresa in the VR. Maybe we'll get that to Craig, and maybe we'll put that up in the show notes. Again, thank you everybody here for participating with me and being part of the conversation. Thank you everybody at home for listening and watching. That's it. We hope you join us next week for another edition of the Diz Unplugged. Stop watching and go outside.